This is Lori Anderson from Southern Stitches and Brer Rabbit Designs, and today I'm going to do a basic tutorial on digitizing a basic design. I'm not going to get into big details. Those will be some later lessons. This first lesson is just to get you started on digitizing your own designs. I'm using the Bernina Embroidery Software Designer Plus version 6. And I'm using it on my Mac computer. I'm running Parallels so that I can run my Windows-based programs on my Mac, and it works out very well for me. Now the first thing I'm going to do on my program is I'm going to go into the Art Canvas so that I can bring in my graphic that I'm going to digitize. I'm going to load the graphic. We're going to make a simple little gift box. I'm going to bring that design in, and as you can see it's really big. I'm going to drag the corners of the design and I'm going to make it smaller. I want to try to make it pretty close to the size that I plan to digitize it at. I'm just going to keep dragging it smaller. Okay, and that's pretty close to what I want it. And now I'm going to click on Embroidery Canvas, which is going to take me to my hoop view. And I can see that this design is still way too large, so I'm just going to grab these corners and I'm going to drag that box to the size that I think that I want my design to be once it's digitized. Keep making it just a little bit smaller, and now I'm going to center it in my hoop, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to give a little word here about auto digitizing. Most digitizing programs have an auto digitizer. I am not a fan of auto digitizing. I just don't feel like you get as good of results from an auto digitized design as you can get on a hand punched design. Almost any time I buy a design off the internet, I can tell immediately if it's been auto-digitized or if it's been hand-digitized. And I'm just going to tell you, the hand-digitized ones are much better designs. You're getting a better quality design. So I'm going to show you how to do that. When you're working with a design, you want to look at it with dimension, and the items that kind of stick out to you are the items you're going to digitize last. Those items that look like they're in the background, those are the items that you're going to digitize first. So on this gift box, we're going to do the box portion first, and then the star, and then the bow will be last. So we're going to go over here and we're going to select Closed Object, and I have my choice of a fill, and I'm going to use a step fill. I don't want to use a satin fill because the distance across the box, in any way you go, is a long distance. And if you used a satin stitch, one stitch across there is going to make for some very loose stitches. So you want to do a step fill or a fancy fill. I'm going to do a step fill, and if I wanted to change it to a fancy fill later, I can do that easily. But for now, I'm going to start out with a step fill. Now I'm going to choose the color that I want my package to be, and I'm going to choose this lime green. And I'm going to start up in the corner of my box, and I'm just going to start tracing it. All the way around. I'm going to go just on the inside of the lines to that bow. Because I want my bow and my box to overlap just a tiny bit. That guarantees you that you're not going to have gaps between your box and your bow. Okay, once you get back to the beginning, hit the enter, and it fills it in. I'm going to show you an artistic view what the stitches would look like stitched out. Now, if I wanted to make it a fancy fill, I would just choose fancy. I would click on it, and I would choose fancy. And the drop-down menu, and I have a wide choice of fancy fills. I'm going to stick with the glitter. And hit apply. Okay. And that's what it looks like. Now, say you wanted, instead of it to be, the design to be running this way, say you wanted it to run on a diagonal, all you'd have to choose is your stitch angle, and you draw your line, hit enter, and that's going to move it. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back to a step fill, because I don't want it to be a fancy fill. And so yeah, I'm just going to choose here, back to step. Okay. Now you want to make sure that on big designs like this, you want an underlayment stitch to stitch first. You're going to select what you've just digitized. You're going to go to Settings, and you're going to go to Object Properties, Fill Stitch, Effects, the underlayment, and I can choose 2 if I want, but I only want 1 with this. I'm going to apply underlayment. I'm going to click that, and then I have a choice of a double zigzag, edge walk, step, or zigzag. Most of the time for a double zigzag or a zigzag, those are going to be used on narrow items that you digitize, such as letters. I'm going to choose step, which is what you're going to use for larger designs. I'm just going to leave the stitch length and the spacing what it defaults to. Okay. And if I wouldn't have already had that under there, I would have hit OK or Apply. Okay. I'm going to go back to this view. Alright. Now I want to have the outside of my box, I want it to have an outline stitch. And you could just choose your outline here, and you could trace around your design where you want it to go. But I like to do things the easy way. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to select my box that I just did, and I am going to choose Outline. And I'm going to go up here to Edit, and I'm going to hit Copy, and then I'm going to do Undo Outline, and now I'm going to hit Paste. And now it has pasted in my outline stitch, and I'm going to hit Reshape Object, because I want to remove some of that, because it doesn't need to be outlined. This portion of it doesn't need to be outlined, and I want to remove those stitches. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to move my start and stop indicators. Okay. And I'm going to start clicking on boxes that I want to delete. I'm going to delete them one by one. Okay. Okay, just like that. Now, as you can see, there is going to be a stitch line that's going to go across here, but that's okay, because it's going to be covered up by the bow. Okay, so you want your start here. Oops, we want our start. This is the green is start, and the red is end. And move that over here. Hit enter. Okay. Now I want this to be a double run, so I'm going to hit my double run. It's automatically going to give that double run outline stitch. I'm going to show you what it looks like in Artistic View. And there you can see the outline. I'll zoom in a bit. There's your outline. Okay? Alright, so now we are ready to move on to the next portion. And the next portion that we're going to do is the star. So we're going to choose Closed Object, and I'm going to pick my color, and I'm going to choose yellow. And I want a fill stitch to be the step stitch. And I'm going to start tracing all the way around this star, just like I traced around the box. Okay. Get back to the beginning, hit enter, and that fills in the star. Now, the star is stitched on top of this box, which means you're going to have a lump if you leave it like this, because you're going to have two thicknesses of embroidery stitches on the star and one thickness here, and you really don't want that. So what you want is this box to have the cutout of the star. Now there's an easy way to accomplish this. You just select your star, you go up here to Arrange, and click Remove Overlaps. And there you can see over here where it has removed the overlaps of that star. So now we want an outline stitch to go around this star. So again, we're going to click, you're going to select the star, and then you're going to hit Outline Stitch, Edit, Copy, Edit, Undo Outline, Edit, Paste. I want it to be a double run, so I'm going to click Double Run, and now I have a double run around my star. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'll zoom in just a bit. And there you can see I have my outline stitch around my star. Okay, so now we're ready to move on to the bow. And I am going to go down here and select the color. And I think I'll use pink. I'm going to use Closed Object. My fill stitch is going to be a step fill. And I'm going to start tracing around that bow. And the bottom portion of that bow is going to overlap just a little bit onto the box. You want that, you want to do that because you don't want any gaps between the box and the bow. Okay, so there's my outline. I want to make sure, even on my star, I didn't show you, but always click it and make sure that there's an understitch. And you can see my understitch on the star are these straight lines. That is the step fill that starts stitching before the fill stitch is done. And it has automatic, I have it set up so that I have automatic fills on the whole design that I'm doing. If yours isn't set up to automatic fills, you want to make sure that you do that, or make sure that you do put a fill stitch. And as you can see, I have a fill stitch behind here. Now I want to adjust, as you can see right here, there's a little bit of a gap. If I move this to Artistic View, you're going to see where it just doesn't look real good. So we want to adjust these stitches, and you do that by hitting Reshape Object, and you can move these little controls wherever you want. You can add more. Okay. I'm just going to work all the way around my design and get it shaped just the way I want it shaped. I'm going to bring this just into the box a little bit. And I want to shape it more by adding more little boxes there. I'm going to drag this out of the way for a minute. That green box there is where your stitching starts, and this red X over here is for end stitch. Okay, hit enter. I'm going to move the start box back to where it was. Now my end, I don't want it to end over here, because if it ended over here and I'm going to start then digitizing this portion of the bow, I would have a big jump stitch from here to where I start over here. I want to eliminate as many jump stitches as I can, so I'm going to take this X and I'm going to move it over to here. And then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so now my stitching will start here and it's going to end here after it fills it in. So now when I'm ready to digitize this side of the bow, I'm not going to have a big jump stitch. But before I do that, I want my bow to have an outline. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to select outline, copy, undo outline, paste. And I want a double run, so I'm going to hit double run. Okay, I'll show you. There's the outline stitch. Okay, now I'm ready to digitize the other side of the bow. And I want to check and make sure that my, okay, so it stopped over here, which that's fine, because I'm going to run across over here is where I'm going to start digitizing this portion of the bow. So if I have a jump stitch underneath where this knot is going to be, that's okay. I won't even have to clip it. Okay? So closed object, I'm going to choose my fill stitch to be step stitch. And I'm going to start digitizing and tracing around this portion of the bow. Once again, when I get to where this green is, I want it to overlap just a little bit. Okay. Okay, hit enter, and it filled it in. I want to reshape my object just a little bit to clean up the lines that I drew. I'm going to move these to where I want them to go, adding in little shape boxes as I need them. So I want to make my curves as smooth as I can. There, on this program, I can make it curved if I want. I would just hold down my control key, and since I'm not using a mouse, I'm using the touchpad. If I was using the mouse, I would left click to get the rounded curves, and the right click for the straight lines. Okay. Alright, and I want my, here's my end stitch. I want my end stitch to end right there. You hit enter. Okay. Alright, now I can change the direction of the stitch as I want. I like where it's at, but if I wanted to change the stitch angle, I would just hit this and then draw my line, just like that. It gives the degrees, as you can see. If I want a 45 degree, just go like that, hit enter. Okay, and I could do the same over on this side. Okay, and the way that I want it, like that. Okay, alright, so we're going to go back over here. I need to do my outline stitch yet. I can do view and see how it's looking. It's good. Okay, now I want to run my outline stitch, so I'm going to hit outline, edit, copy, edit, undo outline stitch, and paste. And then I want a double run, so I'm going to click on double run. And I'm going to look and see where it starts and stops, and that's fine where it's at. Okay. Now I'm ready to do the knot portion. there's two ways I can do it. I can use the circle if I want, and I can draw a circle like this and hit enter. Whoops. And then I can choose fill stitch, and then I can adjust that circle to how I want and move it into place and do it that way. Or I can go ahead and choose closed object, and I want to start where my last stitch ended, and I would draw all the way around this circle, which I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. You don't even have to be really picky about your tracing around it, because you can always go back and adjust your stitches after you have traced around your design. Okay, back to the end, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to reshape object, and this is where I can grab these little object shapers and I can move them to how I want them. Get the object shaped exactly how I want. Once again, make sure that the bottom of this overlaps just a little bit into that box so that you won't have a gap between your bow and your box. Okay. Once it's done, just hit enter. I want an outline stitch to go around my bow, so I'm going to select it, outline, edit, copy, undo outline, edit, paste. And now I want a double run, so I'm going to click double run. And now we'll do view. And I like how that looks. Okay, I can back this out and look at the whole thing. And there's my gift. Now I want to remove my artwork, so I just click on that and delete it out. And there is my finished and digitized gift. Now I'm going to show you what it will look like as it's stitching out. I'm going to run a slow redraw, and I always do this just so that I can see how my design is stitching out before I actually stitch it out with my sewing machine, and it gives me a chance to make any adjustments that I want to adjust. Okay. So it's starting to do the underlayment stitches right now. And as you can see, it is working around that cutout star. And the way that it is stitching out here on my computer screen is exactly how it's going to stitch out once I move the design into my embroidery machine. Okay. It's about ready to do the outline stitch. Now changing colors. There's the underlayment stitch. Now turning the outline stitch. And now we're working on the underlayment of the bow. And there you have it. It's all done. And here it is, artistic view. Now, if I wanted to change any portion of it, I still can. If I want to make my star a fancy fill, I can choose fancy fill. If I want to make the outside of my box another type of fancy fill, I can do that, double clicking it, and I can choose another design and do that. And you can do pretty much anything that you want to this design and finish it up the way that you want it to. I prefer it for this design to just have it be step fill like it is. So there is easy digitizing, and I will give you the artwork for this design so that you can practice at home. And that's all there is to digitizing. I'm going to have some more tutorials for more advanced techniques in digitizing, and just follow my blog at soandso.blogspot.com and join my Facebook page at Southern Stitches, and my designs are sold through Brer Rabbit Designs, and I hope you enjoyed my tutorial.